Perfect. So let's move on to another topic, and thank you again to Sinisha, because he made a pretty nice introduction for what's the situation and where we are. So within this talk, let's please move to one level further to make it even more detailed from the perspective that I usually here to talk about from my mentees and so on and so forth. So let's start with this sentence. Actually, it is quite true. And that's my own experience, meaning, if we are not capable to talk in business terms, we talk in our, I would say, technical Hebrew, then nobody's going to listen to us. Moreover, if we don't talk data or numbers, I would say most of the time, your experience might be the same, that our message is getting pretty much forgotten forever, right? So, and that's the very same topic that we want to explore. We want to learn how to turn our cards to our own hands. So let's start with that. Basically, recently I wrote one of the blog posts because there was quite a lot of people coming with a very similar topic, and it was really about how the fuck I'm talking to my manager and he doesn't listen to me when I talk about my technical roadmap or technical initiatives. It's always the product who wins, and these sort of basically findings. What I want to explore here with you is some sort of a basically framework, how I think about talking with somebody in a way to trying to convince him the way that I want. So let's explore that with more detail. So basically the level 1, and again, I was there as well. I think most of us were, is that, we are just coming with the problem definition. This is what sucks. This is what I was told. This is what I found out that it hurts us, that our customers are not happy, right? In our territory, most of the ICs, even some of the managers, they are using this approach, and they think it's smart. Do you think try to at least be some sort of more empathic if somebody's coming to you with this message? How do you react? There is nothing more to say, right? It's yet another problem, yet another person coming with yet another problem, which is not really constructive, right? Yeah. So let's move things further away from here. When we talk about the level 1, basically what I'm trying to say is we are not listening, or no manager is listening to you, even though they try to pay attention and they try to keep an eye contact with you. In real, they are not listening. What they hear is yet another problem. No surprise. The level 2 is, let's try to enrich it by data. Meaning, if we are very specific and we explore the data, and data is helping us to basically propagate the message through, no surprise, our manager might start to listen to us even more detailed way, which is for sure much better. So by saying, let's say, it's 42% of our releases that have been that have failed in the last 6 months. Okay, now I start having some sort of grasp about what you are talking about, as opposed to just say customers are not happy. The level 3, and that's where most of people would likely to get to, or we hope to get them there, is not only coming with the complaint or with the problem, but also coming with a solution, with the proposal at least, to some degree, right? So again, I would say I'm not talking anything new here, but try to reflect on yourself. How many people are coming to you as managers with tons of problems and situations and difficulties, with just trying to complain with no solution coming out of it. Again, it might be, depends on the company, might be 50-50 or something. Go on, please, Jakub.
About six of the last month, pitching people about them trying to quantify all the problems.
Yeah.
To get some idea of the magnitude.
Yeah, precisely that, right? And especially, let's be honest, we ran through the period of COVID. Now we've run through the period of company optimizations, if you know what I mean. And it was a couple of rounds, that I see in a couple of companies, right? It not only that happened once with the layoffs, but twice or thrice, which is really exhausting, right? So people are sort of tired out of it. There are some people who are telling me, Marian, these days I'm working like 140%, and the company thinks that that's the new standard, right? Putting that aside, again, I totally understand the reason why I'm talking about it is that most of us, we are tired after the situation. And when there is somebody else or yourself coming with yet another problem to the situation, it doesn't help much. We are not helping. We have to choose our ammunition when we shoot it out, right? So here, what I really want to empathize is that we really need to make sure that if we come up with some sort of a problem, situation, or some idea, make sure that it's data-driven, not only by the outcome, but making sure that the hypothesis is sort of confirmed by and demonstrated by the data itself, and try to come up at least with some proposal how to get out of this problem or the situation. It doesn't have to be really thought through, but at least having an idea. Because if you're just coming with the problem itself, again, what you come up with, you might be thinking, okay, I'm coming with some serious problem that I want to expose, which is nice. But actually, you are coming up with the negative problem, with the negative situation, right? So your emotional score goes down. No surprise. It works the very similar way with my wife. So that's how it goes. You know what I mean? There is more. And actually, I would say, in my experience, there might be like 40 to 50% of people coming up to this stage, to the level 3, as we say. Not much. Speaking of ICs and developers overall. I was there as well when I was like the smartest person in the room. I thought I'm coming up with a series of problems and proposals and risks that I see. Is it helpful? It reminds me, a couple of days back, I worked with one of the companies here and was talking with their smartest and the most powerful developer, and he was like shooting problems constantly for 2 hours. Like, okay, so the message is that Marek, you're a great guy, but you will for sure be a good developer. But that's about it. That's not very helpful again. So there is more that we can do. Obviously, and I think Sinisha described that pretty well, we need to back up things by the metrics, by what I get in return. When you say your proposal and you back it up by data, then me as your manager, I start to listen. When you are just coming with a problem, eventually with data, sometimes with the proposal, maybe I'm listening. But now I do listen. Because by data, by the metrics, you are telling me what I get in return. So please tattoo this in your mind. If you are not talking the way that you explain people what do they get in return, you will never win your calls. Never. Never. So by defining the data, people start to listen. That's my experience. You know it. And this is how it works. So when we say, okay, by doing this, this is the proposal, this is the root cause. By doing this, we expect as a metric to lower down the change failure rate to 10%. That's already a meaningful message to your manager, right? Because that ties to the business, and they know what it means, what they get back in return. Okay. I would say there might be, let me be optimistic, 30% of people doing this. It's not a big number, maybe 25, let's be honest. There is more we can do.
How do you quantify it?
We will come back to it.
Okay.
Hold your horses.
There is a saying like 80% of people believe anything, there is some number in it.
Yeah. That's covered by the slide as well. So let's move further. So no surprise, okay, the 10% change failure rate decrease. That's a meaningful number. That's a meaningful message to me. That's part of the dollar metrics, so I'm really listening now. But if you turn that into numbers in terms of the dollars, or some monetization, let's put it this way, now I'm really listening. Because I'm responsible for the budget, I'm responsible for the people. I know that there's a fourth wave of layoffs coming, and I don't want to fire so many people anymore. I'm joking. This is not the case for sure. But this is what it is, right? So you might want to explain your hypothesis this way. Back it by data, back it by the real numbers, back it by the dollars or euros or whatever currency you work with. Then your managers will really get your attention. Okay? So these are basically the 5 levels that I'm doing my best to implement in people's mind to make sure that they are capable to win their cause. Think of yourself, please. What's your level? Think of your ICs, your developers. What's their level? And how many of them are at level 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe? They're small. There's a secret level 6. I experience having not many people on this level. Maybe I was there myself sometimes. And there's a very rare amount of these people that are on this level. Can somebody guess what's the level 6? Go on, please. Can you shout on us? So
saying that we are going to start working on that from the next sprint. Let us know if you disagree. So not even approval is needed.
Don't wait for permission. That's what Sinisha said. Okay. Any other ideas? It's a good one, actually. Bingo. So the story goes like, Kamil or Patrick coming to me, having a kitchen talk, and he was like, okay, so Marian, we have a problem with XYZ. This was the problem. This was the data. So this was our approach. And in 1 or 2 sprints, we resolved it this way. This was the outcome. How's your coffee? How does it feel? There is not so many people on this level, of course, but you might want to have some of them there. Of course, if you are not the one following by example and being there in real, nobody's going to follow you. Nobody's going to help you to reach this level of trust. Okay? Lead by example again. It fucking works. That's all I can say.
I just want to add, actually have the opportunity to work with people like this. It's actually amazing.
Yeah, it feels great. Yeah, totally. And they lead by example themselves because their behavior multiplies. These are the people that we want to have, next to us. Of course, I'm skipping some of the slides eventually. Don't try to gather these sort of insights the way that each and every person has to get there. That's not true at all. There are a few chosen ones that you choose to help them get there. Okay. Moving on. So do these levels sort of, ring the bell, hopefully. Okay. So maybe a small, usually at my mentoring sessions, I'm doing some small homework coming out of there. This homework for today might be, again, think of your level, think of the level of your direct reports and what to do with that. Maybe eventually this is the indicator how to narrow down and further and higher. Starting with some tips. Of course, moving people further away from level 1. Again, as I was saying, the best developer that they present me at the company was the one who was complaining the most. I can bet you he will stay being a developer forever. I can bet you he will never be a staff engineer, never. So the way how you move people further is basically, just ask them to do their work the way that, thank you for your basically finding. for identifying the problem. Would you please come up with the right data so it sort of highlights the reason, the cause, and of course the best way what you can do, Patrick, is to come up with the proposal itself. So my message is this: can you please come back with the proposal? Thank you for your finding. Use this sentence, please, all the time, if the proposal is not there. The thing is, if people are not coming with a proposal, what we educate as part of the culture is that we use people just as shovels, if you know what I mean. Right? That's not the type of culture or type of people that you want to work with in the end. So this is what it is. Try to do my best with my design. Nevertheless, if you're just coming with the problem and the data, that's already pretty good. You think you are doing a great job, you're not.
The y-axis. I'm
not listening to you. The y-axis is the amount of, I will come back to you, that's the amount of people actually, it creates a nice ghost curve that you want to get on the right level. So, and there are further levels, but what I meant to say, if you are starting to come about with the solution, optimally metric and absolutely great with the ROI or some dollars next to it, I listen. The CEO listens. The CTO listens. You have no right to come on lunch with your folks and say, that fucking CTO was not listening to me because he didn't understand the message. It's your fault, not theirs. Coming to the back to the ghost curve, what this means is the amount of people that you want to have in the company optimally. Your curve might be looking differently. And the reason why I was explicitly showing this curve is that it's not the state of the art to have 100% of people on the very right side. It's not even possible, I would say. I would agree. I would argue. But what you do definitely want to have is to get most of the people on the level above 3. Okay, coming up with solution, which is the tip number 1. And we'll come to the money question, of course. There's actually a great book that I fully recommend if you are interested in this topic. The thing is, data rule the world. If you don't understand how to translate data, how to basically use the data language, you are sort of damaging yourself and slowing down yourself. This is a great book about how to measure anything, including some social impact, some soft skills, and so on and so forth. We'll talk about it a bit further. Nevertheless, this book is something like 10 years old, but still pretty relevant. Metrics, indicators. I was doing fractional advisory at one company, and what I witnessed is that the whole company board was mixing the OKRs and KPIs together. Do you know the difference, please?
KPIs usually not aligned with the goals, not direct goals. They can be positive, but not
okay.
OKRs is for future, and KPIs is for past performance.
Nice one. Yeah. So usually it goes with the companies this way that we have this set of OKRs, the quarterly goals or yearly goals. Nevertheless, next to it, we have this set of KPIs that you have to be responsible for, and having that, on a green level, in the right threshold. And then, of course, you have your business as usual and these sort of things. But I will put you down if something goes in the red. So mixing these two, that's not the best way how to run the company or how to run your teams. So exactly, and thank you for the answer. The difference is that if things are aspirational, it's OKRs, meaning increasing efficiency, decreasing the amount of bugs or support tickets, or lowering down the change failure rate, whatever that is. If we are not there yet, it's aspirational, therefore it should be part of the OKRs. While if we get already on that level, we are allowed to make a KPI out of it, right? The biggest anti-pattern I see is that, you know, a manager started to observe his or their team efficiency by some metrics or numbers or some tools, and all of a sudden they are pushing the teams down to just make sure that your numbers are great in terms of your efficiency and cycle time and whatever that is, or burn down charts or the velocity. I don't really care what it is, right? I see you, most of you are smiling, which is great. I think we touched the point. The team is not there yet, but they are pushing you to keep this OKR, which is not really fair, because this way, what your manager is telling you is that they are putting you in the danger of not delivering on your roadmap, or not delivering on your OKRs, basically, because you have more work than that. And you work 140%, you know the story, and burnout and so on and so forth. So if that might be your situation, you are in full power to push back by saying, like, we are not there yet. This is an aspiration. Let's make it an OKR. Let's make sure that, you know, we don't have the 20 different OKRs. That's not really helpful. And let's basically evaluate it this way, right? So please pay attention to this one. And now coming to different portfolio of the metrics. Actually, that's part of the book itself as well. Most of the time, what we observe is that if somebody is asking you to come up with some reasonable metrics, or you want to come with the metrics yourself to make sure that you get the message through, what we do is that we choose the lagging indicators, meaning the effect of basically this improvement will show up later. The leading ones are the ones that they are exposed right away after the deployment or the effect takes place, of course. Most of us are thinking only in the direct indicators, meaning like what's the direct effect. Nevertheless, there's plenty of indicators that serve as proxies to make sure that, you know, it sort of reflects the same tendency. And then, you know the song outcome over output. I think your product managers are massaging you with this one constantly, meaning we should rather be measuring the outcome as opposed to the output, making sure that we understand and we propagate the right message. Usually when I'm asking, like, can you come up with a proposal for the right metrics, how you want to measure your, you know, the effect of XYZ? Usually people don't have these sort of options in their minds being available for them. So that's something I wanted to expose with you, just to make sure that you understand that fully, and we will deep dive into that. So if I would translate it in a different way, the leading indicators might be, and of course, it works the best way in the B2C sector. If we have the B2B, it's more difficult to measure that directly. The leading indicators, they tell us, you know, or they support us in our cause by data right away after the deployment. Might be, of course, we are not working in the B2C or Facebook or something where you deploy your new feature in a canary for, let's say, 2.0% of your customers, and you see the effect right away, right? But that would be the leading indicator, or at least seeing the indicator or the effect after the next sprint. The lagging indicator, the usual lagging indicator is I want to see higher revenue, right? And usually it goes the way that sometimes when companies are trying to implement OKRs, what they do is that they take their existing set of problems or opportunities and they separate it into two buckets because they can't make the decision. The first bucket is called we want to increase revenue, and the second bucket is called we want to decrease costs. Have you ever been there? Okay, it rings the bell. meaning the company doesn't work. The OKRs are not helpful at all. At all. Coming to the second line, direct versus proxy indicators. The direct ones might be, you know what? It's about basically we all know the amount of bugs that we produce, and maybe half of this team, I guess, is measuring their quality by the amount of bugs. So the amount of bugs is really the, to me, some sort of a proxy indicator. What I would go for direct indicator instead is saying, let's measure the number of support tickets that our product generates, because it has a more direct impact towards the customer itself. Same thing goes with the outcome over output. Same principle applies here. Measuring the amount of bugs, I'm not sure what is useful for. Of course, we can measure certain tendencies, but it doesn't tell much. Bugs are outcomes versus measuring the support tickets. That's why I'm starting listening again, because that's the outcome. Because it does have the impact towards the customer. So quickly closing my remarks. Bear with me for the last, hopefully, 5 minutes, because I'm talking too much, I see. So yet another example of how I teach people talking with in the money, in the language of money, is we have two options. Either talking with in terms of the return of investment, where basically you compare the cost with the benefit. The second is the cost of delay, and we can explore that as a story. By the way, there's quite a number of companies already in our territory in Czech Republic that do follow the American way, meaning everything has to be tied to an OKR, or pardon me, to an ROI, meaning if the return of investment is sort of negative, we don't do that. So the story goes like, you might be coming with a proposal, hey Marian, how about we introduce platform teams so that we make our delivery faster, let's say by 30%, meaning lowering the cycle time, for example, of the stories and the new features that we are working on. That being said, I demand you for 2 more platform teams. One person costs something about 6K per month, multiplied by 6 as an amount of people that we need for a team, multiplied for the 2 teams, multiplied by 12 to make it a year. So we are roughly 400K per year. That's the cost. What's the return? By having the 10 product engineering teams that I have currently, more efficient by 30%. Basically, the cost of these teams is roughly 2 million. That being said, 30% is roughly 700K. Simple, stupid, I know. But that's how we are supposed to talk. That's how you are supposed to talk. Meaning the ROI, benefit minus cost, is 300K per year. In 5 years is about 1.5 million of benefit. Now I do listen, your executive listen. Cost of delay for the same situation. Cost of delay tells us how much it costs us, or how much money are not our account per month by not having a certain feature or functionality. So again, we might be talking about, I want to increase the efficiency by 30% by the new platform teams, and it costs us, the new platform teams would cost roughly 30K per month, including the hiring, for the agencies and the sort of commissions might be close to 100K per month. If we increase the efficiency of these teams by 30%, then it's roughly, by not having this efficiency, we are down by 100K per month. So a simple math is telling us that it's gonna pay off, including some adoption and so on and so forth, in 3 months. When we turn it into a year, by not having the platform teams, it costs us roughly 1.2 million per year. Now I listen. If you are coming to a manager and saying, okay, what about having platform teams, because I was told it might be helpful. Next one. So you see the difference. That's the real example, actually. Okay, coming close to the end. Yeah, go on, please.
So these numbers are estimates.
I will come to it.
Does somebody ever
I will come to it. Quickly skip this one. You know, sometimes we have difficulties to measure some sort of sentiments or feedbacks. Of course, there's plenty of NPS, eNPS scores. I'm not going to cover this piece so much, but sometimes I hear the excuse of not being able to measure this. It's just a question of the right service and continuity of these service, and it works pretty well. The next tip, and we'll come to your question, I promise, is was talking with one of the platform managers, and they were like, you know, Marian, this is our roadmap. I don't think it's visible. It's much visible, no worries. Nevertheless, I was like, okay, so this is the roadmap that you are presenting to your CEO or CTO. Yeah, I mean, like, we are on track, everything goes fine, but you know, things go pretty well. And I'm like, okay, so what you are saying, and I'm going to read it out loud: automated infrastructure provisioning, message broker instance, local development instance, mapping between tenants, clusters, services. Like, what the hell it means? There was one person, I'm not going to point to them, who was coming with a similar question about, like, you know, Marian, this is my technical roadmap. And nobody's listening to me in front of the board meeting when I'm presenting my monthly business results. And one of the main initiatives was called new pricing. Like, what it says to the business. Like, if you are not talking the business language, basically you are damaging yourself by losing their attention. So I know the wording sucks, but please do your best to type the names of these. I'm not only speaking tasks, but I'm speaking epics or many initiatives to the business language. So at least when the CEO or somebody with a higher charge will have a look, that they actually trust you that you are working on the right things. If you don't, I guarantee you the first thing that that CTO will be thinking of or thinking about is, how can I shift the focus of that team, or should I dissolve that team? Eventually, this might be the next team for my fourth wave of layoffs. I'm not kidding, just because of the wording, just because of our stupid wording. The next thing, don't ever use this keyword. If you are coming to a CTO or a CEO or a program manager and you start talking the technical debt, I guarantee you from that second, they switch off. And you can talk whatever Hebrews you want. You better talk technical roadmap, technical strategy, technical improvements, opportunities, whatever. Know that. When I Googled, give me a picture of squeezing your balls, this is what I got, luckily. And the story goes like this. The story goes like, if you are presenting some great advancement that you deeply trust to your board or to a senior management, usually what these people do is that they start to shout on you for some reason, or they start to challenge you or doubt about your some sort of details regarding your proposal. If you shoot your pants, you definitely lost the battle. The one thing that I want to say out loud here in this room is that the managers, the senior managers, they are not doing that purposely. They don't want to damage your yourself. They don't want to squeeze your balls. They don't want to cheat yourself. They are just unconsciously thought that this is the best way how to save my time. Because if you shit your pants while I start increasing your voice, that's to me some sort of informal message that you don't have it well thought through. You don't believe in your proposal. This is what it is. So just keep in your narrative. They might be challenging you in tell me something more about the data because I don't trust your data. You might be so if you start playing their game and saying, okay, let's have a look into the data and spending half an hour there, you lost because you are playing their game. But if you say, okay, I have the data available, please trust the data. We can have a look at the data offline. But this time I want to go through the whole proposal. Trust me in that. That's a different approach. Okay? I believe that each and every person has come to this situation, including myself. I'm just telling that to you openly that if you come to this situation, I don't think you will survive it for the first time anyway. But for the future, within the next tries, please remember this picture.
You wear brown pants.
That's what I'm wearing all the time. You might be wanting to selling your improvements and proposal as experiments. That's yet another trick, of course. No need to boil on that further down. And now the little big secret about the numbers. So what's the secret? What do you think?
Estimate their benefit.
Close enough?
They're all made up.
Bravo. Another thought?
Just need a ballpark.
Yeah, that's the correct answer. Yeah, there's always, and thank you for the answer. So there is always some level of tolerance regarding the preciseness or accuracy of these numbers, one. And second, the dirty secret is that each and every person being part of the top management, they know that all the numbers and all the data are sort of figured out of the air to some degree. It's the public secret. So the mistake that we usually do is that we try to have the data as precise as available as possible and losing the momentum, for example. Nobody will squeeze your balls, my pardon, there are ladies over here, because of the thing that your data haven't been very well thought through. What the managers want to check is that basically your idea is pretty robust and you did some research, not really detailed one, but pretty solid one. Okay? So think of it as a hypothesis that is sort of supporting your cause. Don't go too much in details. If there's a manager who is really going down to the details, meaning like the message is that they usually don't trust your idea or they just want to put you down. Okay? So that's roughly about what I wanted to share with you. Hopefully it was pretty useful from the practical standpoint of view. Believe me, these are the things that people are bombarding me quite constantly. No surprise these days. So instead of having some sort of discussion, let's move a bit further. Of course, we are all welcome to have a networking beer, and looking forward to speak with you. And we will have some after party with someone around, of course, as well. So you are free to join us. Nevertheless, hopefully, this is our community. That we are running, and we are quite successful. Have to say, running to almost 700 people as part of the community. With Amy and Jakub will be next time in Brno. Then after summer, moving to Bratislava. And yeah, it goes pretty fantastic way. So just making sure that each and every meetup is high quality, as we say, and that you have a really practical advice taken out of it. Otherwise, it would be really a disaster to waste your time. If you want to be try to have this opportunity and speaking in front. And if you have a great idea actually talking about certain things, then please feel free to reach us, and we might be having a chat about what might be the right thing. Actually, next time in Brno, we'll be talking about yet another product and engineering synergy. And right after, we will be talking here in Prague at Microsoft about how AI can save 1 day of a week for us as engineering leaders. So this might be yet some interesting insights for you. Might be joining our community networking. I was hoping we'll be talking more about. Amy, do we have a poll? Which is.
I think you have to update it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not updated. Yeah, sorry for my incompetence. Join our community networking. Right. Okay. Whew. Okay. So please feel free to consider it as some sort of a return, from having the talks of ours with me and Sinisha. If you can please fill in this, I think it's 4 questions that will greatly help us to identify what might be actually the right topics for you, and what's your feeling overall, how we are helping each other.
It's actually just a simple poll.
Simple poll,
we don't
yeah.
have the paid version of Slido, so
Okay.
we didn't
Okay. There is so many people asking me why we don't monetize the meetup. Maybe this is the reason. Nevertheless, still we are on a good track. So please feel free to give some time on this one and do some return for this. So with that being said, please enjoy the space, the networking. Thank you to Pure, to Olga, Václav, and others to make sure. And if you can, Sinisha, come back to us. Amy and Kuba would be really great for your help. So thank you for being here. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and see you with the glass of beer right over there. Okay, so thank you for today, and have a good one.
Thanks, folks.